We live on a sailboat, so our lives are dictated by the wind, waves, and currents of the sea. And let's just get one thing out of the way right up front. Sailors are a strange, nonsensical bunch of humans.
Just not steady. You never know what you're gonna get. Life is like a box of chocolates.
We want to go fast, yet sailboats are about the slowest form of travel you can take. And we want to go fast, but not so fast that we start breaking stuff. I mean, mostly because this is a boat and there's already enough crap to fix. Hashtag boat life. Which means we want wind, but not too much wind.
Ready for a little less excitement?
Ah! Because too much wind and it's like a bad scene out of Deadliest Catch.
A lot of stress now. These guys are just want them to get off the deck.
But too little wind and we get bored and start hallucinating.
I love the sea. What about port? I prefer rum. Rum's good.
But this isn't the 1800s. We have motors. But we hate motoring because, well, we bought a sailboat, damn it, and we want to sail. And right now, we're in the middle of a 469-mile passage with almost no wind predicted. But
woo-hoo! We turned a day that was supposed to be 0 wind into a 80% sailing day. Feels good. Man, we thought it was gonna be double motor, 15 hours straight. This is so nice.
So as it turns out, we can sail, even when there's almost no wind, which we attribute this to two things. One, our sleek hull design that creates less resistance to the water, and two, our sails. And we haven't talked much about our sails yet, but I think this is the perfect time.
Got the reacher out. It's just happy. See if I can get a shot. It's such a big sail. I don't know how to capture it all.
So as we continue on our way, I'll explain a bit more about the 5 sails we have on board, how they are stronger than freaking Kevlar, and where our setup falls short. Because hey, there's no such thing as a perfect boat.
There's a fad, there's a fad. Fads everywhere. It's been a really calm day of a little bit of motoring, but mostly sailing and dodging fads everywhere we go. And yet not catching in a single fish. Ay, ay, ay.
HH had a full selection of sail options to choose from. And when we made the big decision to upgrade to a performance cruising boat, we were in New Zealand, which is home to Doyle headquarters and main loft. So we made our way over for a tour, and honestly, it was nothing like we expected. The whole experience kind of took us by surprise.
This robot is gonna build our next set of sails.
We expected sewing machines and bolts of fabric, but instead, we were introduced to robots weaving yarn made of carbon fiber and Technora.
And this stuff is so incredibly strong. That's what's so wild. It just looks like ribbon.
Because this is the future of sailmaking. No more generic sails.
It keeps rolling through my head Howard Hughes saying, the wave of the future. Like, this is the wave of the future.
Here, every sail is individually designed, quite literally down to each type of fiber used, so the options and opportunities are seemingly endless.
With the amount of carbon being laid behind me right now, it's just mind-blowing to think about. All the money just getting pumped out of these fibers onto the floor, into the glue, and then, woo, it's just...
Which is equally inspiring and overwhelming as the person trying to decide what to order. So we kept it simple, sort of.
I'm definitely a sucker for a factory tour, but I can't help myself. I like learning how stuff is made. One, it just educates me, so now I feel like I have a better understanding of this thing that is going to carry me thousands of miles across wide open oceans. But also with that understanding comes a little more respect, because there is an incredible amount of man hours and technology behind everything going on out there.
So first up in our suite of sails is our mainsail, which is, as the name states, our main sail. It's the first to go up and the last to be put away. And there's a lot that I could say about this sail, but to keep it brief, I'll give you 2 positives and 1 negative. The one downside is the friction that's created in our headboard when we're dropping the sail. It makes getting the last bit down a challenge, but we're thinking that this is something that HH can help us sort out at the factory. And As for the positives, it's the shape and the ease of the reefing system that have made the biggest impression on us. The shape is no doubt thanks to the Stratus fabric and our super strong C-Tech carbon fiber battens. And we have the Carver hook reef system, which when set up properly, and ours is the safest and easiest reefing system we've ever used. And we're not sponsored by Carver, but we should be, because I could do a whole video just about reefing. We have 3 reef points that can withstand up to 58 knots of wind, but we're not masochists, so we don't have any intentions of testing that. And on our last boat, we only had 2 reef points that had to be done at the mast, and it wasn't recommended to sail over 40 knots. So this is a huge improvement. Next up is our Solent. It's our main head sail, and it can handle a wide range of conditions and points of sail.
Yeah, Stratus for the win. No wind and we still have shape. It's pretty crazy, right? Just put it up, it looks good. Even if it's not filled with air.
And if we picked all the right weather windows, we could cruise around the world with just our main and Solent, no problem. But weather is becoming more fickle and harder to predict every day. So we added a few extra sails to our arsenal. Our self-tacking Staysail has surprisingly become a fast favorite, which is partially because it's the smallest sail we have and because it's self-tacking. Tacking! Meaning it's on a track, and as the boat moves, it moves itself to the optimal position.
It's so easy!
And it's been super handy here in Southeast Asia, where there are a lot of fishing buoys and pearl farms to navigate. But we mostly chose this as our heavy weather sail because it can handle up to 37 knots of wind. But wind isn't something we've seen a whole lot on this passage. Which brings us to our light wind sails. And we have 2, because these are the days we could never sail before. But as this passage is proving, we can now. This circus tent inspired sail is our reacher, and it takes advantage of some of Doyle's best technology. It's Stratis, cableless, and has a structured luff, which it took us a while to wrap our heads around what all that means. It's lightweight, strong, and can really get the boat moving fast when the wind is on the beam or anywhere near. But when we start pointing too far upwind or downwind, that's when it's time to take it down. Here is where the cableless part is really nice, because it's a lot easier to handle and stuff in a sail bag versus the old school style. Getting back here.
You gonna be able to kill the engine again?
I don't know, maybe. We'll see. We don't have a lot of wind. We've only got 8 knots of wind. As long as we can maintain, I think, 4 knots, which we should be able to do, then I think we can. I'm gonna go ahead and color it.
How do you want to pass?
First reacher and then reacher to the Spinnaker. How was that?
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's really nice not having to deal with the Spinnaker pole. Really nice. So yeah.
Here's our fab.
This passage has been such a challenge, and just yesterday we were debating, we haven't seen that much in the water, we should just do it overnight, then we could actually get there. And then last minute we were like, no, we shouldn't, because if we hit something it won't be worth it. So we thought, it's deep water, right? It ought to be all right. Nope, fads all over the place. And I remember when I first started talking about them when we got here, people were like, oh, they shouldn't be a problem. They're AIS marked. You should be able to see them on your chart. They're reflective, yada yada. No, they are not. They do not show up on the chart. Our radar does not pick them up. It'll pick up the boats, the bunkas, all the little fishing boats, but it doesn't pick up those fads, and they are certainly not on the chart, and they are not reflective. You
we would 100% we would have hit some because they've been directly on our path. We have to navigate around them. You wouldn't see this until you're up on them at nighttime. Just not possible. Just not possible to sail around here at night. So feel good about making the decision to just stay hop. So.
I see land behind you. Are we gonna make it?
I don't know. No, we're not. Not before dark, which I never like. I don't like entering a new spot at night, especially around here, because also the charts are not reliable. So it makes me a little bit nervous, but we have been looking at like the satellite views as well, and it looks straightforward, like it ought to be all right. But then the problem is it's going to get dark, and then how many other fishing things are going to be in the water that we might not see? So I don't know. So now it's like, if we weren't battling with this, we could just keep sailing, which is what I would prefer to do. But then the other part of me is like, we need to kick on a motor so that we can try to make it while there's still some twilight left in the sky, so that we can see whatever obstacles are in front of us. So it has just been very challenging. Not per se in a bad way, you know, like, I mean, it is a lot of fishing stuff, which just brings up a whole bunch of other emotions that I just don't even know anything about, but haven't dealt with all that. But it's a lot to contend with when you don't have super reliable charts and you have a lot of stuff to, you know, get surprised by. It certainly keeps you on your toes. I feel like it's not a bad thing because it's making me really do my due diligence, and that's never necessarily a bad thing.
We have always loved Spinnaker sailing, and sailing this deep is nearly impossible without one.
Feels good. It's holding on. Pretty deep.
And the asymmetrical Spinnaker we used on our last boat was free flying, and we used a sock, which we had issues with sometimes.
Ooh, okay, we got a storm coming and lots of rain. And Nikki. Hi. Okay, let's get you down.
I wanted to get the Spinnaker down before the storms hit, but one wave and a slight slip of the hand is all it took to send the Spinnaker line whipping. And don't you know, it perfectly wrapped itself around the radar.
And this too is an asymmetrical Spinnaker, but it's on a top-down furler. And wow, talk about a game changer. Sure, it took a little time getting used to how it furls and unfurls, but we love how simple it is and the fact that it can all be done at the helm. No more dancing around on deck.
Well, we turned on the motors. Here's what it is. We've got one diesel engine and one electric motor going right now. And it says we have ETA 1 hour and 2 minutes. We'll be arriving at 6:30. Fingers crossed there will be a smidgen of light left in the sky.
Put it all away, charge it all up, take it all out, put it all away. This is like Groundhog Day, but it's beautiful. Oh, what a day. Beautiful day, but holy crap, it's getting sticky.
You flew all the sails today.
Oh yeah, we did. Every single sail in our package.
Yeah. You've officially seen every sail in our suite and you did it all in one day.
The whole wardrobe.
We're arriving at a very inconvenient time because it's dinner time. I am going to try to prep dinner now, have it made, and then that way we can drop the hook and then eat. See if I can be successful. Tonight we are having tom kha rice noodle, and that is mostly because all I have left are 2 tiny eggplants, these peppers, some onions, getting low. I have to use up all the food. So I have to be very strategic about exactly what I buy because we're headed in for service. We're going to be on the hard, which means no living on the boat for a couple of weeks. So we have to consume all the food, including everything that's in the freezer, because you just don't want to, I mean, I could leave stuff, but that'd just be silly. Plus, the freezer already needs to be defrosted. I hate defrosting, but it does. So it's a good excuse to eat everything, and then whenever we come back from service, we'll start afresh.
Wow. You guys see that? The exposure was just like way bright and then way dark and then way bright. I was thinking the whole time I should have pushed the auto exposure lock in the beginning. Stupid camera. Why aren't you smarter, camera? Stupid human.
Blame the tools. Blame the tools. What's happening?
Starboard engine started getting a little hot. close to the red line, so switch over. Electric over there, generate over here.
You look like a proper sailor. Worn out.
I'm worn out.
Hot.
Enjoying the cool breeze.
I think,
It's hot breeze.
I was gonna say,
Even with all these sails, there's still one more that we wished we had. One gap that we would like to fill. And that's a light wind upwind sail. Because these light wind days are the whole reason we wanted a performance-oriented boat. We wanted to sail on all the days we never could before, but always wanted to. Curiosity has proved that she can get going with as little as 5 to 6 knots. So, dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is a J1.
okay, there we go. That was good and nerve-wracking. We made it though. Didn't hit anything. We had a boat. It was just a rib with like 8 guys in it. It said Coast Guard on the side, and they came up like they were gonna come alongside, and then they waved and then left and circled the boat, came back in, and then left again. So don't know what that was about. Maybe they were just checking us out. They didn't say anything. And then we anchored successfully in the dark. I just cannot tell you how thankful I am for satellite imagery. I don't think I would have gotten this close to shore without it. No, definitely would not have. Yeah, well, especially I had multiple different apps, not just one, and multiple different maps.
And it matches the chart.
Yeah, and it lined up with the chart and everything else. Not the depths, those were totally off.
It'll be interesting to see where we ended up. Hopefully this is bright.
So now we get to have dinner. Lovely little prawns in there.
Wild caught Filipino prawns.
That's right, wild caught Filipino prawns.
El Nido prawns.
Mm-hmm. And celebratory beer. It's always an exciting part. Pineapple beer. I think the alcohol content might be all of maybe 1 to 2%, but that's not what we're in it for. It's for the fuzzy, wonderful, bubbly beverage. Black mugs, you can't see anything.
So we all drink the Kool-Aid together at the same time.
3 blind mice.
It's the last time anybody ever heard from the Wynns.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Smell it before you
Cheers.
drink it.
Oh, thanks for all the hard work today, Joshua.
Yeah, thank you.
Team.
Thanks for the great tuition.
Tastes
Well,
right.
Tastes better than the nose, doesn't it? It's got a little bit of a nose on it.
Tastes right.
It does taste right. Tastes good.
Who said that? Who's saying? Who's talking? Can't see.
It's the ghost behind the camera. Good job.
At least we don't have to do a 5 a.m. wake-up call, right?
Now we can do whatever we want.
You're not going to be curious to see where you're anchored.